The Healthcare Logistics Torbal Scales are a great addition to your pharmacy. In addition to this video playlist, you can also download additional instructions and software by visiting mytorbal.com/HRX. The link can be found in the video description below. To help you better understand how to use these scales, I will demonstrate how to set up and use them. Some advanced features, such as printing, will not be discussed. I will be using both an internal and external calibration scale. Even though the calibration will be different, the rest of the operations will be the same. Before we begin, let's take a moment to discuss caring for the scales. The internal mechanisms are extremely sensitive, so make sure you take great care removing the scale from the box. Make sure the scale is placed on a flat, sturdy table. Unpack the pan and pan support. Carefully seat the pan support in the middle of the scale, then place the pan on top. If you purchase the optional draft shield, it simply sits over top of the pan. While operating the scale, never pass liquid over it, and never drop or throw any articles on the scale's pan, and never press or apply force on the pan. Before cleaning the scale, unplug the AC adapter from the electrical outlet. Use a soft, slightly damp cloth to clean the exterior housing of the scale. Wipe the scale gently. Do not allow any liquid to enter the scale. Do not apply extensive pressure to the LCD display. Do not use chemicals or benzene when cleaning the surface. Corrosive chemicals may damage the finish. Alcohol may be used only to clean the scale's stainless steel pan or draft ring. Look at the back of the scale. There is a port for the power adapter, a RS-232 port to attach a printer, on selected models a USB port, and a calibration and service switch. On the front of the scale, there are 7 keys. Power, 0, used to zero the scale. Print data transfer, used to print or transfer data to a PC. Menu, used to access the main menu. Function, used to toggle between weighing, counting, and compounding modes. Clear, used to clear and cancel operations. Tare, used to tare the weighing pan and acts as an enter key to accept commands. On the digital display, there are 7 indicators that notifies users of various information. Stability indicator, weight is stable and accurate. 0, the scale is maintaining a center of 0 condition. Operating mode, scale is in pill counting mode. Net, when scale subtracts the tare weight from the gross weight. Auto zeroing. A, advanced pill counting accuracy is enabled. F, a pill fragment has been detected. Sum, displayed when multiple ingredients are compounded. Total, the total weight of a compound is being displayed. Before using the scale, you will need to make sure it is level. The legs on the front of the scale are adjustable by turning them either to the left or right. Turning them to the left will extend the legs, while turning them to the right will retract them. On the back is a built-in level to help you make your adjustment. When the air bubble is in the dead center, you know your scale is level. After leveling the scale, plug the AC adapter in a socket close to the scale. Try to place the cable so it will least likely become a tripping hazard and cause damage to the scale. Having an outlet on the table will work best. When you plug in the scale, it will automatically turn on and start the initialization process. If you purchased a scale with internal calibration, it will then begin to calibrate itself. The word weight will appear on the display during this process. The scale will also auto-calibrate whenever the temperature changes by 1 degree Celsius and at 2-hour intervals. It is also important to know that when the AC adapter is plugged in for the first time, the scale will automatically and frequently initialize temperature calibration as the internal parts of the scale heat up. The menu is used to set up and customize how you use your scale. You can click on the link below to download a reference sheet. I will cover most of the menu option except for print, ports, and firmware. However, you can download and read the instructions for those options. Before we discuss the menu options, I will briefly discuss how to navigate. When you press the menu button, the main menu options will cycle across the screen. You select the option by waiting for the name of the option to appear on the screen and then pressing the T button. The T button acts like the Enter or Return key on your computer's keyboard. So when you press it, your selection is chosen. The menu options have selections that need to be made to configure the scale. Just like selecting a menu option by using the T key, the same can be done when selecting a configuration setting. When you see configuration options cycle on the screen, you may see the word Out. If you press T when this option appears, you will return to the previous menu as well. If you need to go back to the previous menu options, you can press the Clear button and it will also return you to the previous options, but cancel and clear your selection. Pill counting setup. Used to enable and disable pill counting mode. Also used to configure settings such as sample size, advanced pill counting accuracy, and pill fragment detection. User. Assign up to 5 unique user ID numbers. The user IDs can be included in the transaction receipt when printing. Calibration. Manually perform scale calibration and print out calibration reports. Print. Configure format of the print receipt such as date, time, and user ID. Ports. Configure the communication settings for the RS-232 and USB ports. Time. Set the scale's date and time. Sound. Enable or disable the scale buzzer. Firmware. Updates the scale's firmware via PC. Default. Reset the scale to the default factory settings. The HCL Torbal Scale has a useful pill count mode. It also has a feature to detect pill fragments, so we will configure the scale to do just that. To begin, we need to set the scale to enable advanced pill counting accuracy and pill fragment detection. First, I will enable the advanced pill counting accuracy as it is required to enable the pill fragment detection option. Press the menu button and you should see the word Count immediately appear. When you see it, immediately press the T key to select the option. If you were not quick enough, the menu selections will cycle and you can press T when the word Count reappears. Or you can repeatedly press the function button to manually cycle through the menu options. After you press T, you will now see a new menu showing the counting options. When the letters APA appear, press T to select that option. Another submenu will now appear. 2, stop, 3, stop, and off. 2 stop is selected by default. If not, press T when 2 stop appears on the display. You can verify your selection by looking for a hollow circle in the lower left corner of the display. This circle should be there when the letters APA appear on the display. If not, then repeat this step. When finished, press the T button when Out appears on the display. Now we need to enable pill fragment detection. With the menu cycling on the display, wait until you see the letters PFD. Then press the T key. When you do, you will see the options On, Off, and Out cycle. When the option On appears, press the T key to select. Again, you can validate the selection letting the menu options cycle, then locate the hollow circle in the lower left corner. Press T when Out appears to exit the menu. The pill sample size is in the same menu, but we will discuss this later. To set up the scale to count pills, we need to change the mode from weigh to count. Easy enough to do. Just press the function button until you see the word count. Then press the T key to select. Press tare will now appear on the display. Take the weigh container that you will be using and place it in the center of the pan. After the weight appears on the display and is stabilized, press T once more to tare. After the tare is complete, Sample On will appear on the screen, followed by the sample size. By default, 10 pieces is needed to calculate the sample size. The display will switch back and forth between Sample On and the sample size. Drop 10 pieces of the product into the container on the pan. The display will alternate showing the word sample and the weight amount. Press the T key. The word fill will briefly appear on the screen, following by the sample size. You may notice that the OK indicator briefly appears in the upper left corner of the display, followed by the letter A at the bottom of the display. This indicates that the advanced pill accuracy is enabled. The first range is between 10-15, and the second range is between 20 and 30. The third range is between 50 and 60 pills. If you wish to continue to configure the pill accuracy, drop another 10 pieces on the scale. Again, the word OK will reappear, following by the letter A. Anytime after the first 10 pieces are added, you can place additional number of pieces into the container. As you drop additional product into the container, the scale should accurately count the number of pieces. I am going to include a pill fragment into the fill. Again, the OK indicator will quickly appear, followed by the letter A, to indicate that the APA is enabled. Because the scale picked up the pill fragment, the letter F will also appear, along with an alarm letting you know that a fragment has been detected. After performing the count, you can remove the container and its contents. Then the word Done appears on the display. Press T to confirm you are done counting. To begin a new count, press the clear key and repeat. Press tare should cycle again on the display. If you do not, the scale will still be able to perform pill counts. Just know that it will not be able to detect pill fragments. Setting up a user is quite easy. Press the menu button, then either wait for users to rotate on the display menu or press function to manually rotate the menu options. When users appear, press T to select. Choose an ID to edit, such as ID 1, 2, or 3, and press the T key to select. Now press the T key to add a digit. Press the function key to increment a digit. When finished, press Menu to accept the ID number. The 5 users will cycle on the display. To select a user, wait for the user to appear on the display, or press the function button manually to cycle, then press the T key to select. Earlier, we discussed calibration. To take the process one step further, it is possible to manually initiate internal calibration if you feel it is necessary. Please note that this is for fully automatic scales only and cannot be performed on scales that can also be externally calibrated. Simply start by making sure there is nothing on the pan. Press the menu button and select Calibrate when it appears on the display by pressing T. When Start appears on the display, press T to select. If you do not see this option, you can have a scale that can be calibrated externally. The internal calibration will begin to run. As it is running, weight will appear on the display. When finished, the scale will return to weighing mode. If you purchased an external calibration scale or you wish to manually configure the internal calibrating scale, you will need to use a certified weight that does not exceed the weight requirement of the scale. Begin by making sure there is nothing on the pan and the scale is stable. Use a flathead screwdriver and gently remove the calibration screw located in the rear of the scale. When the screw is removed, use a pointy device, such as the end of a paperclip, to toggle the switch to the left, which is the on position. This will put the scale into calibration mode, which you will know because of the loud tone from the scale. You will also see PR on displayed on the screen. Enter the weighing mode by pressing Menu. The tone will then stop. When Calibration E option appears on the screen, press the T key. The scale will then begin to tare. Calibration will appear on the screen for a few moments, then a series of dashes. After another few brief moments, the word Load appears. Take a calibration weight that is equal to the weight that is displayed on the screen and place it on the pan. As the scale calibrates the weight, the word Weight will appear on the screen, following by a row of C's. When the calibration has ended, the scale will display PR on and the tone will start again. Remove the weight, then take your pointed device to toggle the calibration switch to the right. The tone will silence. Finally, insert the calibration screw back into place. To configure the date, press the menu button. With time on the display, press T to select. Date and time will cycle on the display as well as out to exit the menu. When date appears on the display, press T to select. Press the T again to start the configuration. The last digit of the day will begin to flash. As you configure the date, you will enter the date backwards. For example, if the day is the 15th, you would change the last digit until 5 appears. You change the digit by pressing the function key. When 5 appears, press the T key again and the cursor will move to the left, where you will need to change the digit to a 1. Press the function button to increment a digit. When the day is configured, the cursor will continue to move to the left where you will configure the month. Press T and the cursor will move to the last digit of the month. If the month is December, you would change the last digit to the number 2. Press T again and now change the first digit of the month to the number 1. After the month is configured, the display will switch to the year. Again, as you press T, the cursor will scroll across the digits from right to left. Use the function button to increment the digits. Once the date is confirmed, the scale will automatically return to the time menu. Configuring the time is much like configuring the date. Press the menu button to begin. When time appears on the display, press T to select. This time, wait for time to appear on the display again and press T to select. Pressing the T key will scroll a cursor across the display from right to left, starting with the minutes and then the hours. Pressing the function key to increment a digit. Once the minutes and hours are configured, the display will change, asking if it's AM or PM. Pressing T will select your option. The keypad sound can be turned on or off from the sound menu. When set to on, the scale will chirp whenever a button is pressed on the keypad. To configure the sound, press the menu button and either wait until sound appears on the display or press function to manually rotate the menu option. Press T to select. To turn the sound on, press T when the option on is on the display. To disable the sound, press T when the option off is on the display. If necessary, the scale can be restored to its original factory configurations. To restore the default settings, press Menu and either wait for default to appear on the display or press Function to manually scroll to the option. Again, once on screen, press T to select. The display will then rotate the options Yes or No. When Yes appears on the display, press T to select to restore default settings. If you decide not to, wait for No to appear and select it. Before I begin explaining the different modes, keep in mind that the scale will start up in the mode that it was last enabled when the scale was turned off. Weighing is the basic operation of the scale. To begin, we need to put the scale into weighing mode, if necessary. This is done by pressing the function key. You can toggle between modes by continuously pressing the function button, or you can let the scale cycle on its own. When the weigh option appears, press the T key to choose that option. If you wish to confirm that the weigh mode is enabled, you can press the function key, and when you see the word weigh, notice there is a circle in the lower left corner of the display. After a few brief moments, the stabilization indicator should appear. The scale is armed with auto zero setting mechanism and automatically maintains a center of zero condition within, plus or minus 0.5 milligrams. Still, the scale may be re-zeroed manually to obtain a new center of zero. We will discuss how to do this in a moment. Now let's take a moment to discuss tearing the scale. Most likely you will be using a container such as a weighing canoe, and its weight will need to be tared so that the scale will adjust its weight. To tare the scale, place the weighing container in the middle of the pan. The container's weight will then be shown on the display. Once the stabilization indicator appears, the container is ready to be tared. To tare the container, press the T key. The display will show a dotted line indicating that the scale has begun the tearing process. When the tearing process is complete, the scale will return to weighing mode. The display will indicate 0 and the net indicator will be shown on the display, signaling that the next weight taken is a net result. When you remove the container, a negative weight will appear. Now that the scale is in weighing mode and has been tared, simply fill the canoe with your product, place on the scale, wait for the stabilization notification to appear, Then you can be assured that the correct weight is on the display. Should you decide to use a different but similar container, then you place an empty container on the scale and make sure the weight is 0. If not, then you must re-tare the scale. Also, if you should use an entirely different container, then again, you will need to re-tare the scale. With the scale already in weigh mode, place the empty new container on the pan. Wait for the stabilization notification to appear on the display. Press the T key. Wait for the scale to finish tearing. Verify the weight is 0 and net notification is displayed. You can then proceed to weigh additional product. As mentioned a few moments ago, the scale is armed with the Auto Zero setting mechanism. This can be verified by seeing the letters AUT on the display. However, the scale may be re-zeroed manually to obtain a new center of 0. To re-zero the scale manually with a weight that is out of the AZSM range, make sure the weight and the stabilization indicator are shown on the display. Then press the zeroing key. A series of dashes will appear across the display. When finished, the scale will return to weighing mode and the display will indicate 0. A new center has been set and the scale is ready for weighing. To enter compounding mode, press the function key. When the word comp appears, enable it by pressing the T key. Press tare will appear on the display. Place the weigh container on the plate and then press the T key. After the container is tared, ING01 will appear on the display, indicating that the scale is ready for the first ingredient. Add the ingredient until the desired weight is displayed and the stability indicator appears on the display. Once the desired weight is displayed, press the T key to store the ingredient's weight in the scale's memory. Once the weight is stored, the scale will display press tare, indicating to tare a container for the second ingredient. Again, place an empty container on the pan. Press T to tare when prompted. Add the second ingredient, then press T when the desired weight is achieved. Keep repeating this routine until all ingredients have been weighed. To obtain the total weight, press the clear key. To continue adding more ingredients, press the T key while the total is displayed. To print the recipe, press the print key. To reset the compounding function and start a new recipe, press the clear key again while the total is displayed and a second time until zeros appear on the display. We hope you find these instructions useful. However, if you still have issues performing a task or have issues in any other form, please feel free to contact HCL. We have resources that will be happy to assist you with whatever questions you may have.